Thank you very much. All right. Right, what we gotta do is get phone numbers on, maybe talk to like power and see what the, I know it's been raised.
One word, I literally, I don't have a clue what I was trying to write. Sitting there. I figured Dan can inform me. Hey guys.
It's a thicker one, it's not important, but it's, I'll see if I got it.
You bring the third baseman too, or just?
Well, yeah, that's good.
You'd be surprised how much you're excited.
Long you got an update, is that? Or you want to
See if I need.
you want on the agenda, we're just starting. Get it early, maybe. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay.
Inside still?
No,
Yeah.
during the day, like, get off from work. What factories? What factories? $2 so. Otherwise, he has to go greenhouse because it's cold. That's cold. No, I mean. Yeah, well, I'll be in pots or something like that.
First come up. Fish you don't first come up.
Okay, 7 o'clock. I will go order pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, another well-attended meeting. Thank you all, one and all, for coming. The tradition, and we will keep it going, is to entertain any guests that would like to speak. I understand, Guy, you have something that you want to bring up?
Yeah, I was gonna come to the last meeting too, but I didn't. But then I heard that the vacancy for John Wallace was filled. I had a question on why it was done so quick and the way it was done and why, like even the ones that were on the ballot for the, when it was voted, you know, for, why wasn't anybody contacted, or were they? I don't know, I wasn't. I was just on writing, I didn't get into it enough, but, and nothing against Dave Lucas, is it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against him, it was just in the way it was done and why so quick and everything, without notifying the ones of us who had interest in getting on to begin with.
Right. And I had, you know, in regards to, say, for instance, your issue, and I'll address it. I don't necessarily need to, but I will address you because I've come to your house. And you wouldn't want to talk to me. I went to your. I saw you at the post office, and I said, Guy, that was after I went to your house. And I said, Guy, come to the meeting. We got issues. You know, and you said, I'll think about it, you know, and I never saw you, and that was when it was cold out, you know, February, I think it was. And so I figured you weren't interested. There was it was a short list, and we've got some pretty serious things that I think we've got to address, and
So did you, okay, you just singled me off because of that?
Well-
So it's still not a reason you couldn't have got hold, or somebody could have if you didn't want to, but the other thing is, did you get hold of the others? You just told me why you didn't get hold of me, but,
others.
well, there was other people on the ballot itself, really. Wasn't there Roberta, I can't remember the
Yeah.
names.
Roberta Harrington.
I mean, was she contacted at all? I mean, you said you didn't contact me because you just took it
No.
upon yourself to figure I wouldn't be interested.
I had contacted her prior to Wallace vacating, but yeah, I was a little hasty, but I felt there was an urgency. Myself, anyway. I don't know what you know, there was a 2-2.
Why, how long did you figure it was gonna take?
Around here, things take a long time, so. But anyway, I appreciate your input and your questioning of it. You know, it was a judgment call. I wish you would have come out sooner, you know, and said something. You know, at least be part of the process prior to, instead of a naughty boy thing.
Why do you think I went in on a write-in, George? Because I wasn't interested? You took
I
it
asked
upon
you-
yourself, that I wanted the minutes here to show that.
What?
That you took it upon yourself to think I wasn't interested in it. No, I didn't
Didn't
feel like.
think you were
I didn't
interested
feel
in
like
being
talking
part
to
of
you
the
at time when
process.
you're on my desk, or my porch, didn't want to talk to you.
Right, right. And I wanted to talk to you about things, and quite, you know. Anyway, it's done.
Let's hear no there about what I wanted to get out, I
I
wanted
hear
to
you.
know why.
I know it's not going to be
And
satisfactory.
you did, like I did you ask my question, did you get hold of the others?
No,
See, I think that was wrong, I just wanted to come here and say that.
that's fine.
I would have thought it would have been decent to go to the people who would have got on the ballot and show an interest, just to ask them at least anyway. And as far as taking so long, I don't know, you had your meeting, you could have got hold of us within a week or so, I'm guessing. if you had to have a special meeting, if you were so worried about filming it within that month. Otherwise, within a month, I would have thought you would have been able to film it. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Right now, it's too late, but I just wanted to come in and voice my opinion on how it's done. And like I say, Dave, nothing against you. But- And I do plan on coming to some meetings anyway, just to kind of see what's going on.
I
So,
appreciate it. I appreciate
And
more input, and I like the fact that people are coming to these meetings so that everybody does know what's going on. Because when I was mayor the last time, it was very often the case that there was nobody here except for the council members, Dave and Bob. You know, and that's just not the way to run a governance. You know, and there's a lot of other things that I've got on my mind that I think that need improving. And quite frankly, you know, there's some personal and you know, which shouldn't enter into the situation. It becomes about personal attacks and this, when what we've got to do is govern the city and figure out what the best way is to move forward for all of us. That's where I'm at. And I've got some things here that I want to say that you know, when the time comes in the meeting as it progresses. But I appreciate your input. I would have hoped it would have come a little bit sooner. Anybody else? Okay. On the consent agenda, I guess, again, when it comes to the financials, I'm looking at the number of checks that were written, and that includes a lot of the payroll checks that Tina signs, the bigger checks that I don't know why she signs them, you know, but because I was at home on the day that the check was written. So, and that's in violation of a statute. So, but when I add up all the checks that were written for the month, it still doesn't amount to $21,000.02 and $21,002.31. So I was wondering where that figure comes from. What? This? Yeah.
It's on there, the ledger's on there, and you should be looking for 13,697.13. I don't know where you're pulling the number.
No, I'm talking about the minutes from the last meeting.
It was at the last meeting, the same printout that's laying there now.
Right.
Look at the printout that's listed there.
Right, and I've got the printout here too, and I look at.
Well, if you look at that one, okay, and then look at in your packet,
Right.
your cash, okay, look at the disbursements. The listing is right.
So this is from a different account?
No,
This
this would have been from last month. This
Right.
report was on the table last month, because those are the
Right.
minutes from last month.
Oh, 413,
Okay,
gotcha.
if you go way back here, right there, there's a dollar amount that matches the dollar amount on your cash,
Right, but I'm looking at the minutes.
right there. Well, it was on the table last month. That's why it's in the minutes for last month.
Right.
Yeah, it was on your table last month, same thing as that. So now when you look at this one, match it to your cash, it's the same report. If you want it, you know, I could
Yeah,
look for
well,
you
I-
at a later time, but that's why it's in last month. Next
Right
month,
here.
which is tonight's meeting. will
So
be
that,
this
so
month.
next month we'll have this
Correct.
figure here, $13,679. The only thing I've got to question is the fact that I've got the check numbers here that were written between then and now, or going way back. And the previous month's number was like $53,000. And I can't see where,
That printout was actually on the table last month too, because you had asked that the month I wasn't here.
right.
And that included the USDA payment.
Okay, and I
And we
didn't,
went through it. Yeah,
I
you
didn't
did.
see that. I didn't see
You
that
asked the same
USDA
question.
payment. You know, and I appreciate, you know, I appreciate you taking the time to try and explain it to me, and I'd like to try and understand this a little bit better, but, you know, we don't want to.
Well, maybe if you ask more questions, just say, "Well, we need these things for this meeting."
Well, I tried that before, and then the resolution came back that I'm not to contact the clerk and the treasurer, so I'd like to be able to ask you these kinds of questions so that we don't do this. So, I would look for a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I make that motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Administration department.
Okay, I attended a meeting with Bob and Nick on April 18th, went through some questions. Attended the fire commission meeting on April 19th. I completed the mayor's request and notified the budget committee, and the envelope is there. I completed a league webinar on May 1st, and then I did the daily and monthly work.
Okay, what was the outcome of the Nick Bob meeting? What was this?
Went over just procedures of the meeting and changing over the computer and any questions, I guess, that came up. I don't really remember the detail of it, just kind of just covered stuff.
There will be ongoing questions, trust me.
So you have to change your email. You didn't get Bob.
I got that all kind of taken care of.
Any questions for Brittany? Dave, utilities department.
Well, you got a copy of the report in front of you. Should we go over the lawnmower bid first of all?
Sure.
John Deere was only going to allow $1,500 trade-in on that big one, so. And I mean, put what the original price for mower is, were your money ahead going with one through Northwoods Hydraulics.
What's
So
this
that's
one from Northwoods?
8,500.
Is it similar?
Well, it's a different brand name, but they're both got the same size engine, and actually this one from Northwoods has a little bit, it's got an upgraded seat in it, and it's a little bit better machine than the green one even. That's the one I tested last year, so it's got a better warranty than the other, so.
Do you feel that our existing mower is worth more than $1,500?
Yes.
That we can get more than that for?
Yes, we can put it out for sale, you know, put it out for bids or whatever, and then, you know, say minimum bid of what you want, and see what the best offer to go for.
Is it working now? Is it working?
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, Jerry mowed it today. I had to let him mow going and stuff like that, so.
Is there any other places that we can go other than the Implement and Northwoods?
It's nice to stay local, because in case you need pieces, parts, or need to bring it in, you know, otherwise you truck it.
I know they charge you probably about 10 to 50% more, or about 5 to 10, I'd say. And they say okay, or some other places.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
understand doing business in town, but you know we're also a city that.
Actually, this Hustler mower, they're basically giving it at
Price?
At price.
Okay.
Because that mower now is probably about 12,000.
Okay.
So they want to get it out in the market,
Sure.
you know, out in the public eye, so that's what I kind of giving this a break, so.
Okay.
No gasoline? Oh,
Yep, oh, yes.
warranty?
Yep.
Oh, interesting. What, comparable warranties? Both the same?
Actually, the one from Northwoods is a little bit better. It's a 3 and a 5 year.
Thoughts?
to the budget.
But Bertie, you said with the wood monies and stuff like that, there's only 15,000.
What's the difference in price between a 3-year warranty and a 5-year warranty?
Actually, that Northwoods is 3 parts, or someone goes, it's motor and then 5, it's a combination.
Okay.
So it's all on one machine, there's not a difference in price, so.
Well, seeing that I have not seen a budget as of yet, I have no idea where this fits in. Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of things on the table, you know, and this is the first time I've seen it. Exactly, and I'd like to have some time to digest things. You know, it's not something that you can, it's $10,000, you know, that we're talking about, 9,000. So, and how that fits into other things, that spreadsheet that you had before that was approved by last year's council, that's a little bit more digestible than this guy, as far as its presentation. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on that 15 minutes can't solve, you know, as far as my understanding it. So, you know, I'm just saying from my point of view, you know. I'm 105, so.
So we're tabling this, or what?
No motion was made, so I
Right.
don't even know.
Well, I just don't know
that-
what you mean. You don't want to okay this now?
I'm 105. I run the meeting. That's it. I express my opinion, and you know, you guys should like it, you know. I mean, that's what this is about. Consent, advising consent. I say that I don't know, that I haven't seen any. You know, I haven't had time to digest the numbers. So whether or not we can afford it, I don't know. Because the budget was formulated last year with the previous council.
But it's going forward.
Right.
George, it's for this year, so we did figure the mower into the budget because we knew we needed one. We just had to find one that,
What was the budget for the moment?
I don't have the figures in front of me, and I just need all the numbers on the budget.
I don't know either, because like I
Do you
say,
recall, Bernadine? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got it here, just a second. $12,214.
Okay, so Bernie, that's under the capital outlay motor vehicles on this spreadsheet that you can take on, I'm guessing?
Yeah,
So that number matches, that's what I'm trying
yeah,
to figure out.
it's under the city vehicles,
Yeah,
capital
okay.
outlay.
Okay, gotcha.
all I'm saying is that there needs to be some contemplation, some thought process that goes on with this. And I'm trying to do that, but I can't do it on the fly. And maybe you guys can, you know. Like I say, you can outvote me, you know. I'm just expressing my opinion.
If you do sell it more for a couple grand or even 1750, you know, you're still getting money back too, so.
And it's still
kind
better
of
than the
that's all.
other bid, yeah.
Well, it was budgeted for 12,000 last year for 2017. We're gonna get,
12.2, yep.
we're gonna get roughly $2,000 to $1,500 from the mower, roughly.
Yeah.
That, you know, that puts it down to 6,500, so we're half of what was budgeted initially.
Right.
So-
I'll make a motion to approve the Northwoods hydraulic equipment quote and authorization to sell the JD 1420 by bid.
Motion is made. Motion is seconded. Further discussion. So what's the,
The amount would be the 8,500 coming off of the 12,214. And then I'm assuming the proceeds from the sealed bid will go back into that part of the fund.
Yeah.
General fund?
Okay. Yeah, it'll go under the highway, streets and roadways, under the capital outlay motor vehicles.
any further discussion? Well, my vote is gonna be nay because I just haven't had time to look at it. That's not saying it's not a good idea, it's just that I'm saying that I haven't had time to explore all the options, so. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Got the results back from having the main water meter tested, and it meets or exceeds the WWA standards, so it's good news on that we don't have to have it rebuilt or anything like that, so. We might wait another 5 years before we do it again, so. The rest of that is in my report, and the issues with the laptop of mine, Bernadine went online with the provider and talked to Moose Tech, which was able to talk to Jason, and I actually went online too and put in all the numbers that she said. I can receive email, I just can't forward anything or send anything. So I have to actually go online to that mail.net, and I can do it that way. But Jason, the guru at Moose Tech, took it and looked at it. I was there for an hour on Friday, and he put in a different provider that worked okay. So he thinks, you know, he was even at a loss. So, but it's crashed a couple times, froze, the screen has froze on me, and I hate to lose anything that I got on there. Right now I can't forward any of the safety things that come to the fire department, or Kyle. I just can't get them forward. So.
Right, may I make a suggestion with that? Is it the laptop you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. They have these USB external drives that are very handy for not losing stuff.
Yeah, Bernadine's gonna purchase one to trash
Yeah.
it. But I just don't want. I figured one time it's gonna crash and it's gone then. So, but check if it's possible. Get looking into getting a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, because. Okay,
'Cause all
but
my-
is it
my
gotten
monthly
figured
reports-
out?
My monthly reports are all online. They don't take care of us.
Has that computer issue gotten figured out?
What do you mean? No, it's still not working. I still can't send unless I go online and go on to
Like the cloud or whatever?
the provider. I gotta log in and stuff like that. But today I left it logged in and I came back and it was froze. So I actually pulled battery out. And then
How old is the computer?
it's at least 5 years. I'm not sure. Did you ever find it, Vita? Yeah. It might be 7. I don't know. I can't remember when we got it last.
Again, I didn't have time to peruse everything with the financials. Did we ever get paid by Josh?
I don't think he has it because he hasn't been back in town. He was in town, or his crew was in town. They filled up the ruts and cleaned up all that. It was pretty good. So.
Oh, they did fill it up?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's taken care of, and I just feel like when it dries, he's gonna be back in town working on ours, getting, logging some more, and then logging by the locker plant area there too, so. You gotta hold that guy, so.
Oh, okay. So he hasn't paid us anything yet?
No, Not that I'm aware of.
Alright. Did we put that out for bid?
The logging?
Yeah.
No, he had logged year before here, so.
Right. Okay. You might want to think about doing that next time, or at least get clear what, the terms are.
We did ask with the county what the going price was. There's a difference between summertime logging for cord and winter time.
Yeah.
It's cheaper in the winter because
So what they're at?
access is there, so.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Now this letter from the MPCA that talks about wastewater, do you have any comments about that at all? Maybe we should wait till that comes up in the
Well,
later
we're probably
meeting.
gonna have to put in, either push real hard into having people be careful with what kind of soaps they use, phosphorus. Phosphorus limits are gonna come down to everybody, no matter the size of the system or not. Luckily, this first one, they wanted under 1.0, and last summer mine were 1.2, 1.4. And then this first one here, this discharge was 0.46, so 0.6, so we're really good. But otherwise, we start feeding alum and stuff like that. But it's all the kind of detergents people use. They got to make sure that they read the ingredients. It helps out. I mean, it'll help their bill out in the long run because if we have to start feeding alum and putting it on a dock and getting a pontoon or a boat to put it in, it's going to cost money. That stuff is not cheap.
Sounds like it.
Is there a detergent that's worse than others?
Yeah, there are, but I don't have the list on it. I can see, I'm gonna see if I can, maybe have Diane put something on the water bills, on what brands we possibly start using or look for.
Yeah, I know that years ago when I lived in Illinois, the phosphates were so bad that they were foam on the river because of the soap that was coming through the new subdivision. So I know that there are some that are worse than others.
Yeah, Providence feeding, they've already been feeding for years, but they got the school there, and they also have the this stuff there too, so, and towns will try to work with them, but, it's all money that they're spending. So.
Well, it sounds like it's kind of an education issue as well. I think people would be willing to do the right thing or adjust their lifestyle for, if it's no skin out there.
If they see the big picture, but these soaps are probably cost more too, and they probably don't clean as well either, all those deals too. But
Yeah.
Whatever, so it isn't a win-win, but it is in the long run if they look what their bill's gonna be, so.
So, and I'll have to look, yeah, I would.
I was thinking I could put that list in the paper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be real good.
Yeah, I'll give you a call.
yeah, or else I'll get your number after the meeting, when I get the list, I'll just send it to you.
Yeah, at least, like I said, I think at least part of it is an education issue for people that give them an opportunity to do the right thing if they know, that, they might come out with a little bit yellow or clothes, but, the bigger picture is part of the deal too. So,
Jerry and I did put it in the dock down the river today, so people can go down there and enjoy that now again. And I did check in on a price for new pre-finished baseboard for the rest area bathrooms. Peel off the old, it's a glue that's pretty black in there.
yeah.
And that's so I'm looking for something that is rot resistant because of the overflows available in the wintertime, the backups and stuff, that man-made backups that are down there, so.
I don't know if this fits in. No, that wouldn't fit in here.
And on the project update, I've only had one contractor's taken, I did call the three that were mentioned, and they all sound interested, but I haven't heard back from two of them, so.
Oh, the
The door and the
header,
so,
okay.
And it did bring up a little bit more, because I updated my specs, I had Dwayne Grace check them over, because he's the inspector for commercial, and we have to redo the ramp and bring that into compliance. So, as long as we're touching the handicap ramp, but it's all busted up anyway, so it's supposed to be a 20-to-1 slope, and it's only 15-to-1, So he drew up a little plan of how it'll work out, so. But this one's all cracked up anyway, so the step can stay there, just have to pin it in so it comes up. The existing step can stay there, that's fine. Just have to add on a few more feet, so.
Okay. That was kind of another unforeseen. Thank you. He did come out and, the reason, you asked him to come out to look at what needs to be done out there? Yeah.
I gave him the specs that, when I saw him, and then he came and looked at it, because then he said, any remodeling, you have to bring your handicap up to ADA requirement compliance. And we're putting in a new door, and we're touching the outside, and that's all it takes. And it's supposed to be a certain percentage is spent on that too. Like I said, like 15 or 20% of the project has to be that. I don't know what sticklers they are on that, but
20% of the cost of doing the header and the ramp's gotta be 20% of that?
well, it's gonna be new siding on there too, so.
Right, but I mean,
Yeah, it's gotta be 20% of the project.
How the hell did they figure that?
That's what I'm wondering. Thanks, guys.
Cost of the cost.
Out of the book.
Exactly.
yeah, I don't know.
Out of the book.
Government regulations, yeah.
It's
That's
in
their
that.
findings.
Yeah. No, he's residential.
Not Rob.
Yeah, I think
where they make up their numbers from.
That's goofy.
Rob's gonna go to school and learn about it, right, Rob?
Yeah.
All right,
I'll touch base with the other two contractors, so if he has some money, some numbers to look at the next meeting, so.
okay, because I talked to, because Chad, we were at the fire department meeting, and he said that there has been some talking and some progress from Cousins, and so.
Yeah,
Everything's talking.
they're supposed to come, I figured they'd come on that last Monday when it was all crappy weather. No one's getting work that day, so.
Anything else, Dave?
Nope, that's it.
All right, thank you. Next, fire and first responder department, welcome.
Yes. We have had one fire call, it was a mutual aid with Moose Lake, and we've had 3 medical calls this month, is what our calls have been. Any questions other than, I mean, the fire call, I don't know that anybody from here actually responded, I was at work. I don't know, it was middle of the day type thing, so.
I think it might have been a grass fire.
That was the rumor I heard, I've never seen, I've driven by there and haven't seen anything. Was it behind the school?
Just question, but if somebody, don't you log when you go out or somebody?
Yeah, there's nothing on the book.
And probably during the day, it's
During the
hard.
day, it's pretty tough, especially now that I'm back to work, everybody's working. There's not
I
much,
know, I was on for 25 years.
Not much we can do.
You take 2 minutes to write your name on it.
I didn't, like I said, I didn't see it, so on the book, so I'll have to talk to everybody.
I think pretty much everybody knows to log the calls.
Okay,
Well, right. And we'll find out if next meeting if anybody shows. You know, I don't know.
The new lieutenant on
So, what else?
Other than that, I've got, the work order from Hyman for a new turnout gear. I mean, it's a lot of money, because all of our gear is outdated as of this point. We need 10 sets of turnout gear for the firefighters we have right now. We need 10 sets of turnout gear so everybody has new gear. I guess one of my thoughts on that is talking to other departments. I know Moose Lake, they just budget in to buy 4 sets of gear every year, no matter what, 4 sets of gear. That way they never run into the issue of, crap, the whole department needs gear. Right now Barnum's in the same boat. Their whole department they need 20 sets of turnout gear. Their whole department is outdated. So I don't know how you want to approach it, if you want to approach it as looking for a grant, or just pay it out and get the 10 sets of gear, and in 10 years say, oh crap, we're out of compliance again?
Right.
Just a thought, get hold of Legion, see if they have new money in. I was
Right.
on Legion probably, no, but I mean,
Yeah,
they had more than they're supposed to hang on to. So
Yeah.
that'd be a good place to put it.
Or if it's, all right, let's buy 2 sets of gear this year, and let's buy 2 sets of gear next year, and by the time you get through it and the first sets of gear are needing to be replaced, it's just a revolving cycle.
Right.
Discussion on the last meeting, weren't we kind of sure that there was money available for this turnout gear?
Bob had presented as taking it out of capital improvement.
Yeah, I didn't know what he had presented or what he,
There probably is a chance to get some funding, but I
Yeah,
don't know
I'm
if
saying
anybody's
we can't
looking
get some
at it.
federal or state
Does it,
funding grant.
that take a long time, or?
Well,
Because you have to
the
write
only
up the
federal or
grant.
state that I'm aware of would be FEMA grants, and that would take a while.
yeah,
And that's how we got the original.
that's how we got the, no,
There's probably more local, smaller ones.
but like I said, it's just, instead of every 10 years going, oh crap, we should try and come up with a revolving plan where we can not run into that issue all the time. I mean, and even if we started it this year where, all right, we do just buy the 10 sets, in 5 years, we should be starting to replace gear. Whether, I mean, we're 5 years from life cycle, but to keep it going sustainable, that's something that we need to look at doing, I think.
Or could we purchase this, I mean, apply for the grant and purchase it, and then, if they do approve the grant, it'll just go back to, or how does that work then?
Does it work after the fact?
Yeah,
Yeah, like if you went, like, say, Legion, I don't assume that they would have after the fact. Like, if you do those types, if you do anything higher than a local, you probably wouldn't get reimbursed. Most grants aren't reimbursable, when you apply.
Unless it's a stipulation matching type of thing, you know.
It's still, you usually have to,
Have it in before.
yeah, you don't buy it.
Right,
you don't buy it.
And then
Yeah,
apply
yeah.
for a grant, yeah, after the fact.
well,
So now, could they try, like, the credit, does the credit union do that anymore?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not with members, maybe, huh?
Not that I'm aware of.
There's a new one coming in.
That's that.
Yes, that's true.
Our roundup with that.
That would be one, and I'm not sure of their regulations.
North Mine Riders, are they receptive to requests these days at all?
They would be they would get something.
Yeah, it's just a thought to throw out there instead of, I mean, to me, we've been using this gear on what, 12 calls a year on average. To me, I think the regulations are a little bit sided towards big cities that are out on 3-4 calls a day. Yeah, their turnout gear probably does have to be.
Yeah, the same with a lot of that stuff. I remember that too, but what was your total figure you figured, 15
That's
grand?
15,640 is what
Well,
it
it's
is for 10
something
cents.
on Legion, I don't know what they have available,
Right.
for the availability.
But I just know that we're, as of right now, we're out of compliance with our turnout gear. It's all too old. So, well, except for 1 set.
any little bit helps regardless, it's, 50,000, that's a chunk of change.
The only reason I asked for that total is because sometimes when Legion donates, they like to know what your goal is, and then they might,
And I
it's
do,
15 grand, they might end up getting more money if they have it available.
right, and I do believe that, if I remember talking to Bob correctly, he said there was a couple, $300 a set knocked off with this bid, doing it 10 sets all at once. So that's saving a little bit of money for the quantity buying, but.
Well, they're needed, for sure. I guess it would be that if you want to try and get monies from somewhere, donations.
I don't, like, I would say it's more responsible to try and find some money out there, whether it be Operation Roundup or the Legion and the North Pine. I mean, if we can get even a couple $1,000,
Yeah.
that helps.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Um,
Bridge is another one.
Right.
How much was one set?
One set,
$1,564.
with the discount, it's $1,564
It's a lot.
a set. I don't know what that set that we had just bought, when we
I can't
bought
remember.
Simi's
It
set,
was 16 something.
1,600 something. So, yeah, there's 1,600, it's substantial.
Didn't they get the price to a few different?
No, that's just the Panther, yeah, that's not, that's not.
Is there only one outlet? You priced a few different places, I'm sure.
I think Bob did.
Bob priced them, Hyman was
I
the
think he's
only,
done that before.
Hyman was the only one that was gonna give any sort of
yeah.
deal for volume.
Or let somebody else stand behind it.
And I think everybody else, they were all about the same price, other than Hyman was that couple $100 less.
If I'm not mistaken, it was $18.38 for the,
Okay, so yeah, they're knocking $300 off a set of gear, so.
yeah, John?
I would talk to Members Cooperative, maybe Chris and Molly can direct you in the right direction. Prior to them becoming members, like they would do smaller things in their community fund, but members wants to make a bigger splash and bigger amounts of money, so it's worth talking to them.
It's worth talking, yeah.
So, can you make the phone calls, are you gonna make the phone calls? Because what we're talking about is prospecting and mining for money. Not easy, get rejected, but who's gonna do it?
Yeah, I mean, I can, it's,
Because it's fine and dandy to talk about it, but if nobody calls.
action's gotta start done one way or another, yeah.
All right. Yeah, see what you can find out. Give me a call, or, I'll work with you on it if you need some help or follow-up.
So just table this at this point until we get some, try and search for some money first.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan. So, we need to, myself and Nick interviewed Chad Schmidt. Are you gonna go over this, or? Okay.
We interviewed Chad a week ago, and everything looked pretty good. Yeah, you got his application and everything back?
So, we need him, and I concur with the fact that he was on the department before. He has been as attentive and does anything you want, that needs to be done. I would entertain a motion or I'll make the motion to hire him on as a firefighter on a provisional basis, as everybody else is. Look for a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We got a couple of applications here for officers in the department. And we talked about this at the fire department meeting as well. And it's pretty much the recommendation of the fire department members that were present last week at least. And I think we had everybody there. Yeah. For Nick to assume the full-time fire chief position. Terms, length of term, I don't know how that would work, you wanna?
Is there
I-
an application or
Yes.
We've got the
contract to fill out?
No, well, there's a job description and some guidelines, some actual firm guidelines, I guess, to the terms limits or the term length of service or length of whatever it is, how long you're gonna be chief, you know, in the SOPs, and is it 5 years?
I usually was 5, I believe, assistant 3.
I believe so.
Right, so would you, does that sound like a reasonable thing to you as far as, you know, do you foresee any problems in fulfilling that
No.
deal?
No, and I honestly, after doing it for the last month, I wouldn't want to be switching chiefs any more often than that, because it's a little bit of a headache getting everything switched around, and with the fire reports being online, I mean, you have to get new passwords and IDs and email this person, email that person, call this person, and give them your firstborn and get things switched. So 5 years is just fine, yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Nick? I guess? Well, with the recommendation from the fire department being that I would again make a motion for Nick to be placed in a 5-year fire chief position, term effective immediately. Looking for a second.
Second.
Second is made. Further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also, we have in there, maybe I should have done this with one motion, but Kyle has applied for the assistant chief position. He's currently the training officer as well. Both are paid positions. It's for us to parse and figure out whether or not there's any problem with one person holding the same position. Myself, I think he is able to be competent in both positions myself, and you know, he took the last meeting, and it was he makes an effort, and it's effective to be the training officer, and the guy shows up. He's there. So, questions?
Hinder his job ability to do both, on either part.
Was not the assistant chief and training officer a combined position when Mr. Larson was assistant chief?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's precedent there.
But, I mean, I feel Kyle will do a really great job and he can do both positions. There's no, I see no problem with it whatsoever.
Do I take that as a motion for
Yes, I make the
okay.
motion.
All right, if I hear a second. Okay. Motion and second is made. Further discussion.
There is, he said their experience requirements is listed as fire, as the, assistant fire chief job description. He said no. What does he need to meet the job requirements?
The job requirements of the assistant fire chief, as far as I know, and I'm going off my memory, is just to basically fill in when the chief ain't there and be a support system for the chief when he needs some front work being done.
Yeah. What does that mean? The reason is he doesn't have his 5 years until December.
So we would,
You have a fairly
Oh,
good
yeah.
department right now.
Right
I
on
had firefighter December 2007.
Because he has to have those 5 years.
That's why.
so we would need to acknowledge that and make a variance.
A waiver to pass
To
it.
waive, because he'd be,
Okay.
what, he's like 8 months shy?
Because I didn't realize
That's, I think December he'll have his 5 years.
So,
6 months.
so with that stipulation in the motion, I guess amending the motion, maybe I don't know how to do that, but acknowledgement that we know that he's shy of the 5 years and we're making a variance. And I think the council has that authority. So we have a motion second, further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. So now here in purchase request was done, building department, Rob.
See, last, whatever, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Last Tuesday, Dave and I went out and did our annual spring cleanup. Just keeping passes around, there should be one for everybody.
Egregious violations?
No, but the list was longer than it has been in a few years.
Here all night.
It wasn't that long, but yeah.
No, I thought that was the whole thing.
I hope not.
One.
There's even that many people here.
I don't know what numbers either.
Yeah, the numbers are a little, because the first 4 are perpetual. And the next 14 are current.
I need the list. Which place is Kenny Schatz's?
Yeah, that's next to me, at that old gas station
That's Kenny's?
there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's being rented currently.
Right.
And I don't know, seeing that as being a business and resident, or not residential, it's commercial. I don't know what all the stipulations are for that versus residential.
There aren't any.
Well, there's gotta be different rules for residential.
Well, yeah, but when you got tires sitting behind the building, it doesn't matter where they're sitting.
That's fine. I'm just,
I mean, unless you're running a garage, but.
When I have a station, I still have to keep it within reason.
Right.
yeah, you gotta.
You gotta use your common element. You know, what you don't.
When it says ordinance compliance, what ordinance are we talking about, nuisance or what?
Yep.
All right, so, what have you done in the past in order to, besides send them a letter?
That's what usually takes care of it, except for like the perpetual one.
Okay.
So the first 2 on the list, or first 3 on the list?
The first 4.
First 4 on the list?
Yeah.
They've been on since last year?
Yep.
Well, I think if they've been on more than a year, I think you should fine them. According to the ordinance
Is
that we
there-
have on the books, correct?
Um,
That's what it does say.
Yeah, it takes legal action.
But-
What's good, what's a good of an ordinance if it doesn't do anything about it?
Enforce it?
If you can't enforce it without having a lawyer?
No, I agree. I agree. The question, I guess, as was in the past, is the cure worth the amount of money? I don't know.
Yeah, it gets expensive if you end up going with
But-
legal action.
But then
you
what do
know,
we,
you end up in court.
Why is
Right.
it legal action? That's why can't you just send them a bill or a fine saying you're not in compliance with the ordinance?
Because that's not the way it's written.
Well, then we should rewrite the ordinance.
All right, well, let's do it. I mean, if we have.
Because if we can't get these people to clean up their yards, and we expect this, and that's in the ordinance of the Kettle River, then it needs to be addressed. Or we're never gonna get these things cleaned up. They're just gonna say, give the finger to the city and have at it.
Yeah,
So make a new ordinance, you can.
Like they've obviously done for years.
Yeah,
because they're-
exactly. Look behind my house, for instance.
This makes a ordinance to be able to sewer fees. Who's they did it, didn't pay the damn bills, so you just disconnect.
Well, you can't really do that these days. Then they're really taking the court.
Well, if you got an ordinance,
Yeah.
I'm not just checking because that's the only way you got them, otherwise you can send them all the bills you want.
But if our ordinance doesn't reflect what we're trying to do, then we need to rewrite the ordinance to where it does reflect what the city is trying to do.
Yeah, so it has some teeth in it that'll actually bite, you know, and
So these people
No,
can't take.
I don't have the nuisance ordinance in front of me, maybe Rob, you more refreshed, or Bernadine, but are there dollar figures that are written into the ordinance?
I don't think so.
Yeah, everybody have to look.
I would have to look too, because I thought I saw it, I looked over it once, and if so, certainly I don't think we would need to call a lawyer in order to send a letter saying, you know, you're subject to fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's what,
If there is a dollar amount attached to it, it isn't very high.
I thought I saw like $700, but
What I thought.
I don't know. I'm, again, working with my memory, and it's old times memory, so. I don't know.
Send the letter, we'll review the ordinance.
I understand the first year, yeah, but then the second year, if they're still not in compliance.
Right,
And
but then,
they have the same stuff.
right, but then you might run into the issue of them being grandfathered in. You can't,
No, I'm talking about everybody.
right.
You get a letter for first year, then the next year, if you have the same stuff, or your lawn, or your property looks like garbage, then they send a fine. There's no grandfathering in.
I don't know how that works, because, you know, like I said, you can't give a guy a ticket for running a stop sign if you put the stop sign up after they went through the intersection kind of thing.
Well, part of this perpetual thing is, they may have cleaned up from what was there, but now they've got new stuff, new junk.
Right.
So they're perpetually on it, but they've actually done something about it, but they're always on it.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. I mean, 'cause, well,
Well, then what's good of the ordinance?
You know,
And wasting money is driving around the city looking for people that are out of ordinance.
the third one that's on the list, the stuff that was on this list from last year isn't there this year.
Yeah,
It's
it
new
is.
stuff.
That camper's been sitting there.
Well,
for
the
a
camper,
year.
yeah, the camper, but the junk, the garbage, that's.
The garbage that's always been there.
But that's
I've
different.
been living there for 10 years. It's always been there.
But it's different. He gets rid of some of it, and
Pulls out more
then
from
he
there.
adds more to it. So it's like,
Well, regardless, if you took a match to the grass around it, the whole thing would go up in flames.
well,
Unfortunately.
that would be a blessing.
I'm not going to say that.
I did.
So what you're saying is if that one starts, we're not getting called right.
I'm not going to say that either.
Off the record.
Stricken. So what I'm trying to say is, if we're not going to enforce the ordinance, why is the ordinance on the book? And then why are we spending money to drive people around to look for people that are out of ordinance?
Makes good sense to me.
I think it's more the percentages, you know, from that list. You
First
get
letter will get rid of
75 to
50%.
80%
Right.
fine.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Hopefully they take care of it after another.
Oh, yeah.
But they're perpetual offenders.
Well, even number 2 on there, they cleaned up everything from last year. This is stuff that's accumulated over the winter, you know. Springtime's a tough time and stuff like that. I mean, it has been wet and stuff, so, but.
I agree with that. I'm talking about the perpetual ones, the ones that are year after year after year and don't just have
Well, even
that.
on the first one there, they did remove part of that walkway and repaired some of it, but over the winter, it was all the rain we had, you know, more of it rotted away, so we cut down the trees and I don't know if you'll ever get rid of that 5,000 gallon tank that's in the back.
That's all?
They're not easy to tell.
No.
I was gonna convert the van into a chicken coop.
I'll look at I think we should all look at.
Further review of the ordinance.
Look at, review the ordinances, and then, see if we've got any teeth in the ordinances to try and rectify the situation, especially lucky number 13. You know. But,
How many days do you give them again to get it?
It's usually 30, but
Yeah.
it's
Have the
usually
letters gone out?
usually longer than 30 before we go back out and look.
We're gonna bring it up. To you guys first of all, and then,
Yeah.
Diana.
Probably here. Okay.
She has the list already, so.
Okay.
I mean, one of them will probably be taken care of after tonight, so.
You know. So, review the ordinances,
Maybe two?
the letters are probably stored in your computer. Or in,
Diane.
oh, okay. Yeah, if you, please. Anything else, Rob?
Yeah, I went to some continuing ed last week, that's about it.
City council.
Review the ordinance and
Yeah. Okay. Todd, any updates?
Went out east, went through a bunch of small towns to kind of get a comparable study.
So I first identify who you're representing, I guess, is what,
Of Planning and Zoning Commission.
Planning and Zoning Commission, yep.
So, smaller towns in the, like Ohio, Michigan. Well, I was in my other duties as my personal work. But, you know, we're not really that bad a shape compared to some of Middle America.
Yeah.
I went through some places in Indiana and Ohio, and we should be pretty lucky with what we got. And we should be blessed that we got a city staff that works so hard for its people. And a lot of people that really don't give a hoot about their fellow residents, and it's really kind of sad. But I kept really good account of all my expenses. I've given that to Bernadine. The check will be, should be out properly. I'm just kidding.
So, the reason that we didn't meet, because we don't have but 2 members, and that doesn't doesn't give us a quorum of that. So it's myself and Todd that are on the planning and zoning, and I'm not sure how to get that bird off the ground.
Marcia offered to put it in the paper if anybody's interested. You know, people
Yeah,
that would
put
be
it in
interested
that
in
there's
the.
vacancies, yeah, there's several vacancies, so, hopefully somebody will come forward to, I can keep putting it in that there are vacancies,
Yeah.
and we need people to fill those,
Do it too.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Committees. I want to speak to the budget committee. I see that Bernadine has put together a pretty, or from what I can see, a pretty complete package of information, at least for starters, that would give us something to work with as far as where we've been and where we should and will go. One thing that I wanted to share with the council is, and this is kind of the underpinning of my orneriness, I guess, so to speak. And these are city comparisons for $100,000 homes. And I got this off of the League of Minnesota Cities website. And as you can see, our city tax is kind of out of line with our neighbors. And I don't like this. Our city tax, and I checked it with mine, is over 2.5 times what it is in Moose Lake for a $100,000 house. Which means to me, and we're the highest, Sturgeon Lake's the next highest, and we're 50% higher than them. What it means to me is that we can do better. We're not very efficient, and that's why I've been kind of looking at numbers a little bit sharper than or trying to understand where we are. Because this is not mine or hers or yours or his. This is all of our monies, and we five at the table here are the managers and financial responsible fiduciary parties that are trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. Part of the reason that, and I talked with Gasser, the county auditor, about this, and he says it's basically you don't have a lot of folks in there, and your tax base is small, and you know and nobody, you know, and it's kind of a syndrome. Why would somebody want to move into a high-taxed area with, you know, water that has its problems? And we got some infrastructure issues. We've got streets that need attention. We've got the water tower that needs attention. So these are big issues as far as long-term sustainability. This is where I want to, that's why I need you guys. And it shouldn't be about me and her and me and him, this is about all of us. You know, that moving forward and doing the best we can to with what we've got, becoming more efficient. So that's the goal that I have with trying to, you know, and I'm not an accountant. I do have a minor in math, you know, I mean, so I can read figures, you know, to a certain extent. But we've got to do better. You know, if we're going to grow, if we're going to be somewhere where that's going to be here, we've got to become a little bit more efficient. So it was kind of a wake-up call to me when this kind of numbers are floating in front of me. So anyway, so
Question, George, where are you looking to cut?
That's-
The thing is with the small towns, you know as well as I do, it's because of the number of people. Got to share all them damn expenses.
I know, and it's not gonna be easy, and maybe there aren't any, this didn't happen overnight. And it's not gonna be an overnight sensation that's gonna fix this either. You know?
No, I just wondered if you saw something that maybe you can change, because I'd have to think on all the mayors and the councils past have worked on this to a certain degree, trying to cut expenses down here and here and here and here. So where can you? Maybe there's some spots, yeah.
Right, and that's why, to get some perspective on where we're spending money, which that packet has, maybe maybe it's gonna be only a little bit that we can say, I don't know, because like I say, I haven't had time to look at it, because, you know, 15 minutes before the meeting, it's a lot of numbers to try and crunch, you know, so.
I work for a city in Moose Lake, and I know they're alone, just your sewer and water here. I think Moose Lakes is gonna go up because they're having all them updates, but they're only half of ours, it's not even that.
Yeah.
When I just considered, hey, I'm living in the town of what is it, 180 people, 160?
Right.
Come on in, where the hell are they gonna go? And what is intriguing them to come here? Not just the tax thing, but otherwise. There's not a coffee shop in town, there's nothing here. And then how do you get people to come in and do something?
And right now, these are all legitimate things, because where do you start? I understand.
Well, exactly, yeah.
And you gotta start somewhere, or else it's just gonna get worse.
Well, you don't want it to get worse. I mean,
Right.
And I'm saying, I'm giving regard to the councils and mayors
Well,
before that.
myself,
Hopefully they were watching this all along.
right, and
Trying to cut here and there, but.
you know, and it's, to do nothing is not a very good option.
No, but it's like, you know, some of this stuff where your hands are tied, it's like the fire department when I was on, they wanna put 6-inch hoses on our trucks over here to give us a special rating, but you're never gonna use the thing around here. It was asinine, you might as well put it into these jackets and stuff. I don't know how much of that they're still doing, but, you know what I'm saying, stuff, and your hands are tied because of the state.
I feel we've gotta try.
Oh, I'm not saying you can't try if you can find some
You
place.
know, and
If you can find some place where you can legitimately do it. That's the trick.
I understand. not gonna be easy.
Right.
Change is not easy, especially.
Well, that's why
when
you
you're-
have the meetings, you see your expenses, you see this, you see the tractor. Okay, how many years do you expect that tractor to be used, so.
Right.
It all falls in and.
Yeah, so myself and Jason will do our best to bring to the council at least what we can as far as the budget committee to see what, where we've been and where we might go that might be a better place, and if we can or not, and then it's up to us to figure out whether or not that's
Wouldn't
doable.
more revenue help? You got all the land over here, the 20 acres of developer.
Yeah, but that's a one-shot deal. That's a one-shot
And if
deal.
they build houses there, those are people paying taxes. That's not a one-shot deal, that's money
Right.
consistently coming in.
But Todd, why would you want to come into a place that's got such high taxes? That's the conundrum here.
The larger tax base will lower the taxes.
Sure.
I was on a committee before where they were looking at putting in, like the same as next door here, some of those, the government's paying. If you get somebody who wants to invest some money in this area, in that plan.
Boy, I really like,
I don't know how you get them to come in.
Well, you got the old laundromat, you got, my next door neighbor, you got the place across the street from her is vacant land, and that's been for sale for a couple of years now. The guy in the blue house across from me, he had his house up for sale 3-4 years ago and couldn't sell it.
well,
What's
everything.
with the land behind me? The city owns that now, right?
Well, if you can't sell land to get somebody to build on the land,
I'm just saying, first of all, doesn't the city own that now?
Yeah, the mills are.
I mean, projection was down to put a new fire hall in there. Well,
Well,
what you do, I'll be chewing dirt before you see that. I mean, would it be nice? Of course it would be, but holy man.
right, and this is why I don't know what we can afford.
Well, I just saying because
I know.
Todd is saying if you sell land that you're not gonna use in the next, you can't get it back though, that's the
Right, well,
thing.
to Mr. Lucas's question, the reason they can't sell it, they want to get the money back that they paid for it when real estate was going up. They don't want to take a loss that they made a bad decision. And the rest of
and
the town is
that's
suffering.
never gonna happen,
All right.
Well,
unfortunately.
But anyway, I
Well,
just
that's just what's
wanted
happening. That's, they want
I just
not to
wanted-
admit that they lost their ass on speculation.
Yeah.
And everybody else is suffering.
I just wanted to plant a seed as far as what my perspective of things was. Anyway, any other things about committees? Unfinished business, Air Fiber and Thomas C. lease agreements.
Has anybody heard from him at all?
Well, he's-
Verified
Neither
or
haven't
anything?
heard from either one.
Okay.
Do we just wait for him to show up?
I can try again to reach out to them.
Well, it's a standing, they've got the offer of the contract. They've got the contract in hand, I believe. We gave it to Simi to deliver, I believe. Wasn't
That's
that?
the way I understood it.
Yeah.
March meeting.
Yeah,
That was
should
March,
be one
yeah.
there.
Yeah. So,
Table
Yeah.
for 1 week.
I'll talk to, I'll mention it to him the next time I see him and see what he says.
I guess under unfinished business, what's the status on the fire department SOPs? Have those been revised yet and put into place or no? We haven't seen it. The only thing I've ever seen was the draft. There was a committee,
I think the mayor was on it.
George and Bob was, but now
Right.
Bob wouldn't be on there anymore. Who, I
John
can't remember.
was.
I think it's in here. It's on here.
Um,
But there's nothing, been done yet, or?
Not that I'm aware of. At that point, and now that you bring it up, again, old timer's brain here, but the SOPs, standard operating procedures, it's not like reinventing. I'm sure there's other departments that have these that we can template off of. I mean, I don't know exactly
I
what's
think
needed.
you have a draft.
We have a draft.
Kyle and Isaac,
Yeah, that
And
sounds
John
familiar.
was
John
on
was
it.
on it, and Bob was on it, and you, and
Yeah.
working
Kyle
on
had
trucks
an
or something, and
Kyle had an old copy, I think, and there was, Bob was, and I was as well, kind of unclear about.
Isaac was gone as well, so there.
Kyle did take some.
It just
Kyle
was a
did take
snowball
some,
effect.
yeah, Kyle did take some notes, so,
I know Kyle's been looking at it and
yeah.
doing some,
Yeah, we did make some suggestions that night, I remember. And Kyle was taking.
But in the long run, it's not
it's not
really
complete.
been done or totally looked at by the members. Well, I get.
So now I'd be on,
Yeah.
instead of Bob, I'm guessing, I'd probably take over that
I think
position.
so, yeah.
And then there'd be a need for a separate council member since John was on it, probably, if we want another council member, or I guess it's up to the council to make that.
I guess this may be a stupid question, but what is the purpose of the SOP? What are we getting out of that document? When do we ever use it in practice?
Standard operating procedure.
Right, so
Yeah.
like when would we use that?
It's an OSHA requirement, it's not. That's why it has to be updated, because it's part of, we're in
Doesn't need to-
compliance. right now.
Doesn't need to be used, it just needs to be there, okay.
My business, my company has one.
Oh, no doubt,
Everybody has,
no doubt.
you know, so it is something we have to have in place, and it needs to be updated, and I think there's a timeline for this. It should be done as soon as possible.
Okay.
So I think it's up to us, Jason, to make sure that's done.
Okay.
Because we're the safety committee.
Well, hey,
I was reading through our
get it
duties.
done.
I was reading through our duties as I was.
Because OSHA coming in here and fighting.
Yeah, we're
They
making a whole big
They need,
mistake.
they need to be done if, I don't know, if you wanna reach out to all your members of your committee and need to
Which,
get it
I'm gonna go
done.
off topic for a second. John was on a few different committees and he resigned. Now, does Dave automatically fill in there, or how does that work?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say.
Council.
Oh, okay,
It's not-
okay, I just wasn't
it's not
sure if
a
it was an
fine, yeah,
automatic
it's-
thing, okay. Cause I see John was on that. Fire commission.
The fire.
Or no,
Depends on
I'm sorry,
personnel and.
so it's not like they have to be totally rewritten.
Right.
They have to be updated because there's
Yeah,
language in there.
I know
that
Kyle's
isn't
been working on some of
used
that
anymore.
stuff, and
Yeah.
just changing the languages from the alcohol in the fire hall, all that language can come out.
The right to know was
The right to know, it was just a few minor, from what we saw
Yeah, it's
anyhow.
not page by page rewriting.
No, it was just,
No, it's up-
It was just taking some
Some
things out that didn't need to be in there anymore.
John,
More than anything, what we
he
see.
was on
Yeah, it's-
the personnel.
personnel committee.
That's what he was on. I
Well,
don't know
we
what
would
else.
need to move and second and approve and all that kind of good stuff, I think. So he was on personnel committee? I'm sorry.
We should
Well,
probably
yeah.
finish this SOP.
Yeah, yeah, so
Yeah,
he-
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
decide
yeah,
You're right.
Right. Well, I don't like
As
to.
far as Kyle being the safety training officer, the training officer for the fire department, perhaps he would call a meeting amongst you, be in charge, I'm really not sure.
Okay.
But it should get done, I would say,
I-
within the next
I
30
think,
days at least.
I think he would, if not welcome it, I think he would engage it and do something. You know, I think he's a good person.
So it's 30 days.
So
He's
do
not
you
here.
want to
30
contact
days.
Kyle about
I
it?
don't know.
Let's see
I
when you
don't
guys,
know.
when is a
Wanna
good date
take
for you guys to meet?
Contact.
I'll get a hold of them, we have a truck bike put it up, but maybe we
All
can
right.
do it another night.
Okay.
And,
All right.
just
I'll
see
contact-
what get the changes that are needed, and
Yep.
So are you contacting Kyle?
I'll contact Kyle.
All right, thank you, Nick. All right. Are you satisfied your take
Once they're done, yes, and we will satisfy them.
We're working on it, there's been a lot of fluid that's going on lately.
All right. Okay. Any other old business stuff?
Do you have a date set for the fall dedication of the field?
It's looking like August 21st, Monday, August 21st.
You think that is for sure?
That is a date we need to figure out the time because the games are, you have to start the games earlier, not late into August to have enough daylight to play. So we're not sure if it's gonna be 6:30, probably more like 6, but we're trying to finalize that. But definitely the date is the 21st.
Is the 21st of
August.
Discuss.
For the dedication of the park.
Yep. But we'll have to make sure that we set up the time because
Have
it's.
funds been coming in?
Yeah, we're actually, by the way, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but thank you both for putting that in paper. We're over halfway to our minimum goal, which is 3,200 for the plat, for the signage and getting that mounted and everything. So it's well underway. So I thank you again for that.
I'll leave it in another week.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The other
I'll
old
put
business.
this into dedication.
Okay.
Tentative date.
All right, so we already kind of went over that MPCA, they're watching phosphorus. We got a letter from them saying that don't do that, buy the good detergent type of deal. They're gonna be monitoring it, is that the deal? They're gonna be monitoring, and you're gonna have to
We already test for
submit.
it, we already test for it now, the results are submitted to them, so they're looking at them. Just if we can get them down before they tell us that we have to take it out of there. That's what we have to.
We need to get them down still?
Well, the reason, first discharge is down is it's sat for 6 months, I don't have the option of letting everyone sit for 6 months because of all the rain we had, I'm gonna have to be discharging in June again, so.
Okay. So we're not out of the woods, so to speak.
No.
All right. Yeah, education. All right. Use the good soap. Troy Management, dear council members, please reduce my water bill. They make a case for their, using our ordinances.
On the waste management part, yeah.
What's that?
Under the waste management part, or the commercial sewer part?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to tell these people, you know, I mean, their main complaint is that they get charged a stub-up fee, just like if you have a stub-up to your house, even if it's unoccupied, you get a minimum charge. Well, they get 8 of those, right? Isn't that the way it works?
Correct, they have 8 apartments, so that
Yeah.
they need it.
Yeah, so they get 8 no matter whether they're filled or not. But they got 1 meter, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, so this has been approached to the council. I was at the meeting last year, I think it was late fall, that she showed up to see some. And made an appeal, and, here it is again. They're trying to lower their water bill. I don't know what to say to them. What do we say to them?
To give a little history from when they made the last presentation, the council asked me to research cities to see how they charge apartments. We charge, the same as the majority of cities. Apartments paid per apartment, considered residential unit. And then from there, they asked me to send a letter to crime management to request if they would have records on how often the apartments are vacant, and also to show the financial need that they're claiming. I have not received that response.
Nothing.
And this is the next letter that came in.
that was September or something, October or something?
No, it was, I think in the November meeting, the information was brought back to the December meeting, and then the letter was sent. So it was like December.
What do we do?
I guess I would send them back a letter, the same previous, saying that you never responded to our initial letter that we sent you. And then we can talk further, possibly. I don't know what, if they haven't responded to the first letter that you sent, you can't really necessarily
So,
take on this letter.
Why would you need to if they haven't responded back to you?
Exactly.
well,
I don't think we need to take any action on this right now.
um,
And they might not have given updated toilets, they might have not, 1.6 gallon flush ones in there, who knows, they might be the old style. Their consumption was up this last month, I talked to Roy, told him about it, he didn't seem too concerned, so.
How many people are in
I
there?
got 6 apartments right
6
now.
apartments now,
That's
so
what he
they're
told me.
almost full.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're subsidized, and they cry, it sounds like they're crying poor mouth, but they are a business, and, our rates are not business friendly, so, I mean, they say in that one sentence, Kettle River is a city losing their business base because of the cost of utilities. Please don't run the apartments out of town also, shot across the bow kind of deal, or is it that they're really looking to pull out? I don't know what they do, they still own the apartments, so I don't know whether or not it's a legit threat, or whether it's just blowing smoke.
You do it for one, you do it for the whole city. You can't just favor one. And so then how do we make that up? We have to raise our rates.
Yeah.
And do we want to raise our rates anymore? I certainly don't.
No.
I pay enough for water. I do not conserve water. If I use it, I pay for it. That's just the
I'm
way it
in the
is.
same boat as that, and,
And hopefully there is light at the end of the tunnel for our debt to be paid off. But it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next year. It's a few years down the road.
right, and then again, the guy points out the challenge, but the challenge is to sharpen it a little bit if we can, I
Well,
don't
without most of the time, by the time you pay that up, something else is gonna need to be.
Well, we
You
got,
know, to a point.
we got, yeah. I don't
It's a
know.
hard place to
Nothing
live.
lasts forever, so.
No, that's correct.
I mean, now he has to replace all the meters.
Yeah,
We actually went through that before.
Could be there in each apartment.
No stop.
Yeah, that's an option too, but is there a way for
There
him
is.
to
Then
give
they
you
really can't have it, then they don't have an argument. If you put a meter in each apartment.
what kind of costs are we talking about there, that would, any ideas,
How much
Dave?
did our meters cost that we just got?
Those are 123, and then you have to put a meter horn, which is probably another 40, 50, and then the plumber come in and do it, so, targets out on each one, so.
Yep, it's a costly little adventure there.
Yeah.
Depending on how they're underwater lines.
Then is that an option that employee management wants to take? I mean, if that's their choice, then they should be charged, they should pay a charge. Put a meter in each apartment. I don't think,
At their expense?
at their expense, if that's their choice, but I don't think the city should have to pay that if that's Croy options.
Well, don't
They're
they have a
still not
history of
gonna
not
get the
paying their
debt
bill
service, and
anyway?
that's their biggest complaint, is the debt service, paying that for
Yeah.
8 apartments. They have 6 full right now, so.
So would they still be complaining if all 8 apartments were full? Would they be complaining if they
Yes,
had any
yes,
jobs? I mean,
yes, they
when you're all full,
would.
so
It's the
what's-
debt service they're complaining about. We can't make that go away. It's something we have to pay back, and that's the only way we have to do it. And everybody pays it.
So So the consensus is to ignore it, is that what I'm hearing?
Not ignore it, they ignored our request for their
So do-
hardship claim.
Right, so do we respond to it?
No.
Well, then we're kind of ignoring it, you know?
Well,
I mean, we
I would
talked
just,
about
I
it.
would just, what I suggested to begin with is just send a letter. You fail to acknowledge our request, until you acknowledge our request, and we will look at your request.
You push me first.
That's why I was saying, why, if you already wanted, they're supposed to submit stuff to you, why should you have to waste your time with anything more? Until they submit that to you. If they really want it bad enough, they'll fill that stuff out, send it in, and they're just stabbing the dark, see if it's not.
Well, that's-
Then,
So what would, if we did make a phone call, what would we say?
I would say they would need to make a phone call. I mean, if they had time
Oh.
to type up the letter, they
Oh,
sure
I
as hell
see.
could have given us stuff we requested to call us. You know, I think it's kind of a half-assed attempt for them to get their bills lowered, in my opinion.
That's a, yeah, possibly there, you know, because what, in the reality of it is, it's a revenue stream for them, and they're on the, it's kind of on the government nickel too, you know, supported. And if they said, okay, we're pulling out, they'd still have the property and they'd still have the water bill, you know, so, you know, I mean, they're kind of, but, I don't know.
This correspondence, it was bad.
Yeah,
You just can't blame them
No,
for trying, that's all.
matter of record. The letter is a matter of record. Any further business issues to attend to? Hearing,
I do have a question. Do we have to do anything with the city as far as like Sunday off-sale liquor? That comes up July, is it July 1?
First,
Right.
yeah, July 1st.
Is there any step we have to?
And see if we have to do any ordinance changes, depends on our language.
Okay.
oh, and then we were, in the discussion with the safety committee, we were talking about placing Dave on some committees. You're not gonna get away with it. No committee, but- So, and you said that he was on John?
I know he was on the personnel. committee.
Personnel and,
Oh, I know for sure.
what else?
I think it's planning and zoning personnel.
Oh, yeah, planning and zoning. Oh, there's our man. Our third guy. All right,
fair enough.
okay.
Does that take a motion? Or did we just
Yeah,
decide
I guess
to
so.
do it?
Motion to place Dave in personnel committee and planning and zoning committee. Looking for a second. Second is made for the discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Looking for an adjournment motion though. Somebody? Okay.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much, everybody.
Is anything for me to send an email? A couple of days, but I should be able to ask.
Okay, what's
This doesn't need to be in there, but
that sounds good.
good signs and a nice bronze memorial plaque with the masonry sets. We want to do it right.
Oh, good, I had to kill one the other day.
But it didn't get any.
It was kind of strange. Yeah, this.
Some hospitals there, but they're too high end. Big money. We really should have, we got lowering that.
they sold.
Yeah.
Get ready to get to the garden center.
So we put that on our list of items. Yeah, it's going pretty good. I mean, we could.
Or meat chicken.
So it doesn't hurt to get producing, so. But yeah, that's something we're talking about, because usually once it's we just make a coffee fan appreciation night, and then we try to get rods. And last year we actually did it in September, we had women's team, and men's team, men's team. We all got together and then they split up into 2 teams.
You know, first to get some lost done, you can just charge, we're trying to make it big team one, so probably.
You know, so they.
Add more into it. Just say that.
And I already,
Because
I think they're planning to add.
Well, thank you, I really appreciate it.
We'll get some primaries here.
Yes.
We don't know if that past it's actually a lot choice. And I was gonna put another one right here. Yeah. The big ponds comes here, it's quite but this already like in spring season in water, I'm like, I don't know how they were doing it. So you can do that as well as with the only thing cost you have, you want to go, but you have to go. Yeah, no, I don't want everybody here. If you don't mind. Spring and fall. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, all right, thank you for asking. This is so flat. Thanks so much. Whatever it is. Part of the battle ordinance. We were better at it, we wouldn't have 2 MPU. You know, you can't go in there and so we'll call it up there. He wasn't running back on or something. I get the dates up. Because we'd like something. I mean, if that's the way you're gonna take care of it, how do you expect to have it? It actually is really good shape. The old ones were still 200 volts of turn energy. So, I think the electrical parts there, pictures.
So you don't need ballast or anything like that with the base?
I know. The thing is, oh, you know, maybe not. I don't want to, I'd rather go like 8 right? Versus, you know, you got the big expense up there, but
How many like fixtures are on?
No.
how much lighting and stuff like that for that shop size?
Well, they're not cheap, but they'll last for forever, yeah.
Well, down here, right, and
Well, I mean,
that's my
it's good for our power bill. Yeah, it's just reasonable. It's better to go LED. It's something like that, could go.
Well, I know that at our church, that we put
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
200 volts,
we were-
and we went to
we
see
were
those,
looked at it and realized, hey,
and they were $100 something a pop.
yeah, I probably should have said that
Like
text.
expensive.
You're making your money back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, really awesome.
Yeah.
Really more efficient.
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And it was the same thing.
We were looking at how much
Or whatever happened.
You know, I just looked at it, today I was looking at some, like, so I guess I'll get some numbers for that. You know, summertime's not that bad. I had a friend door over, and I was like, winter time, so that's Tuesday. So that's how long it is.
I don't know what the date is, it's like the third is something.
I mean, anything you get about 15 years.
Oh, is that the other one? Yeah. Yeah, let's do it.